Greetings, I'm John with Wiring Planner, and in this video I'm going to be covering our new graphical symbol editor. Up until this time, if you've been using Wiring Planner, you're probably familiar with the current process where you request a symbol, send us a PDF, we draw it up, and it will end up in a table for you to use. We are happily moving away from this, so you will, in the next release, you will be able to create any symbol you like. So I'm going to be going over how to create and use these symbols. So while we're in the main Wiring Planner program, I want to go over a few things to keep in mind when you start designing your components. The first thing I want to discuss is the grid. So if you're familiar with Wiring Planner, you're familiar with our grid. And there are a few restrictions to it. And one is if I have contact attach points like these that I'm pointing to on my power bus, they have a 4 grid spacing, which is 20 pixels, 1 to 1. And then if you look at a connector, the contacts are a 2 grid spacing or 10 pixels. All of our contacts will fall somewhere on a grid spacing of 5, which is our minor grid in this case. So that's just something you want to consider if you want your things to line up really nicely and you have a bunch of vertically located conductor attach points on a symbol, that you'll want to space them 4 grid spaces. We use the exact same grid in the graphical editor. So that's the first thing, is grid spacing. For something like a fuse or a splice in this case, doesn't really matter because you're just on one line and you can locate those on a grid spacing of 1 grid space. Okay, the second thing I want to discuss while we're in this program is how we break the components down. So every part is broken into a symbol and a part itself. The symbol is strictly the graphical representation. It defines the graphics and where the conductor attach points are. It cannot be placed on a diagram. So in my case, I differentiate my symbols and parts by a parts and symbols folder. Because right now you can't really tell the difference from the icon. We're looking to update that with something that'll visually cue you in as to a symbol and a part. But this isn't enforced. This is just my way of doing it. But you'll notice that the only property associated with a symbol is its name. And if I try to drop it in the on the diagram, it won't let me because it's not instantiable. But what I can do from a symbol is I can create a part. And the reason we do this is so that you can create any number of components with the exact same graphics, but with different part numbers, different manufacturers, and so on and so forth. So I right click on the symbol, and I select create part. And I can create that part right in my project, or I can create it in an open library. That's up to you. In my case, I always create my parts in a library so they're reusable. And I come down here and you can see I've got a part that I've created. And now though, if I click on that, you can see I have a whole bunch of information that I can fill in. This is exactly the same kind of part as you would have had using the old mechanism. And in this case, it says the symbol is diode. And then I can put a name, part number, description, manufacturer. I can add some extra things if there are things that go with it, a heat sink and so on and so forth. And I can add my own properties. The type, you'll see, will show up when I create the part on the diagram. So I'm going to take this part, and I don't really need any information in it for now, and I can pull it out onto the canvas, and there I have a part. And if I go down here, you'll see it's a type of just my arrows. It's a diode symbol, and then this is the ID that would show up in the BOM, and all this information would have been filled in if we wanted to do that. So that's kind of standard our graphical components if you've used the program before, and a little refresher. Otherwise, it might be new to you, in which case that's how we instantiate a part in the canvas. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that because I don't need it. And I'll delete these as well. Okay. Now, let's say you want to create your own symbol and your own part. So I'll start out, I'm going to create another diode, my own kind of diode here. That's a little bit different than the one I've already created. So I'm going to put it in basic electrical again, and there again, this is my method of doing it. You can do it however you wish, but I find it a little bit easier if I break things down into some form of hierarchy, because you can get lost with big lists of stuff. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to add a template. So this is the old way. I'll just demonstrate it here really quick for you. A graphical component. These would have been your symbols in the past that you would create parts from. We're moving away from this. This list will probably go away very soon. But what we're going to do is we're going to create a template. And right now the only template available is a graphical symbol, but we will be adding borders and title blocks to this as well. So this will be fully customizable in the near future. But we'll create right now a graphical symbol, and I'm just going to call it my diode. And you'll notice right now it has a fairly generic symbol because we haven't created it. These are actually little miniatures of what you draw, so it makes it easy to identify. This will update when the program is opened, so it won't update right away when you've drawn it. And I will double click on this, and it opens our graphical editor. The graphical editor is a standalone window, and it consists of a title bar, which allows me to draw freehand polygons, predefined polygons, lines, arcs, and also add conductor attach points. I have a grid. By default, normally that snap to grid is off. I always work with that on, and then generally edit my locations over the properties. I just find that easier than the mouse. I can mirror, I can zoom, I can also use the standard command control windows hotkeys, and then we have text tools, and then you've got a fill for polygons and stroke color for your lines that pertain to all these items, and then you can also change your line and text centering. So like I said, we're going to create a diode, so we're going to start with a line. I'm going to turn my grid on. I want to make sure that's on, and I click the line. Now something to keep in mind here is we're going to stay on the line tool until we turn it off by hitting escape. So just so I don't draw extra stuff, I'm just going to warn you about that. This allows you to keep drawing lines if you wish. So I'm going to start by just drawing a line like so. I'm going to hit escape, and that takes me out of line mode. And now I can select the line, and I'm just going to put it here on an even grid starting at 50-50. And you can see over in the properties, I've got my starting point, X and Y, which in this case it's here. And then I have a width of 50, and since it's just a line, a height of 0, and no rotation on. I could rotate it 90 degrees if I wish, or 90 degrees, and it rotates. And we've got you rotate it around, and so on and so forth. But we don't need that right now. So we've got our line. So now we're going to draw a triangle, and we'll come out here, and I'll draw a triangle like so. Hit escape to get out of triangle mode. Now obviously I need to rotate this 90 degrees. And just like that, I've rotated it 90 degrees. Now I can drag it and put it where I want it, like so. And I can also, if I select it, if I do Command or Control up arrow, I can fine adjust on the grid. Or I can manually enter the location, like so, where I just changed the width of it. Okay, so pretty much that's going to work the same for any polygons and lines and whatever you want to draw. Then this, since I'm drawing a diode, I want to fill it in. So we select what we want, and I will go to the fill tool, and I will select black. And while this is open, any colors you add, they'll stay in here. It clears out when you open the program freshly, so you'll have to redefine them. And you can enter the RGB. And alpha, for those of you who aren't familiar, is your transparency, so you can have things show through. Generally on a background, I'll always have the alpha set for full. That means that it will be opaque. And I click OK, and I have filled it in. Not much to that. And then, of course, I'm going to draw this line of it. And you can see, oops, escape. So I got a little artifact there. Command Z, get rid of that. And we can see my triangle here is a little big. So I'll just change its height like so. Okay, so I've drawn a diode, but I can't really use this because I have no way to connect it. So we have to add our attach points. At the moment, we can only add single attach points. We can't add a connector yet, but I believe that is a feature we do want to add in the future. But for now, just single contacts. And once the contacts are added, if I select them, it gives me a contact number that I can override. Generally, it just increments. So if I select this one, you can see it's contact 2, and this one is contact 1. And I'll show you that'll be handy when we get back into the wiring planner tool. Okay, so I can give these a default label if I wish. In my case, I'm going to just make it a 1 and select it, and a 2. Okay, so when I put that on the diagram, it will actually draw a 1 and a 2. It doesn't do it here because they can be moved around and they're not fixed. So I've drawn this, and see, this tells me my path to this part, in case I was wondering. So I'll hit save and close. And you can see I've got my diode here. It hasn't updated the symbol yet, but it will. And now I can create, I'm going to delete this just so I don't get confused. Okay, now I can create a part from this. So to do this, simply right click, create part, and I'm going to put it in my library. I do that just so I can reuse it more easily. And now I've got a part where I can set the name, the part number. In this case, it's telling me what symbol, so you could go in and change the symbol if you wish. That'll get a little bit weird if you have different number of conductor attach points, but you can certainly do it. And a part number, a description, a manufacturer, and so on and so forth. This is the information that's going to feed your bill of materials. So I'll just give it a name. My cool diode. We'll do a 1 and 4007. So I could obviously create something 4002 or whatever, and that's why we do it this way, so that you can just reuse that symbol over and over again, creating new parts. You have 100 different types of resistors, whatever you want. But now, unlike this, which I could not pull onto the canvas, I can create this part. And you'll remember, said the grid, these guys will always fall on a grid of 5, and that makes it easy. So now I can do things like flip the part, like so, or like so, or I can rotate it. And I can move my labels, free to move them around. And now I can connect it and use it just like I would. But one little additional feature here is this part, which exists in my library here, has a feature where I can change those labels. So because you might have a switch with different pin numbers or contacts and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to edit the symbol labels, and here's a list of all my symbols. These are the IDs that were in the graphical editor, and these are the labels I'd thrown in here. I can change these to cathode and anode. And this is a preview of my parts, so you can tell which one's which and that you've got them right. And now I click on this, and they've updated in here. And now all the parts I create from this will have that labeling. And now you can just connect wires to it like you ordinarily would, move it around. That is pretty much everything that we have currently in the graphical editor. I think you'll find it very, very useful to be able to make your own parts. And we'll, of course, be enhancing it as we go, but we think this is a really good start to enabling customers to do a lot more in terms of these great looking parts. Hope that helps. Have a great one. Bye.